Grand Rising. Yes, John F. Kennedy Jr. Yes, I saw that. That was the old uniform. I don't know what, I can't confirm anything on that about JFK Sr. and the president, in the Oval Office. Did you post FB about starting a QFS account? QFS is already set up on your wallet at your bank account, wherever you are. Now, I'm going to get into that again today because of what's happening worldwide. And I just may as well touch on this right now that, your wallet's going to be set up for every person on the planet, and wherever your citizen or birth of origin, where you come from. That's it. If you're like me, if I'm in Canada and I'm in the Philippines, I got to come home to Canada to pick up my, to get everything set up. That's why I'm here, waiting like everybody else is. All right. Yes, I believe that the EBS is days away. That's what I believe. There's no shortage of things to come up with. It's always something going on worldwide. And I can just tell you that governments around the world are falling. We're witnessing the corruption in all the governments that are out there. Now, I do want to show you something before I forget. Let me just get to it here. Okay. So, this is what you see here. I don't know if we can catch it. You see that there? That's Mexico and the United States. Okay, look at all the ships that are going into the shipping, the Gulf of America. Okay? This is what's happening. Very, very cool. Now, that being done is, I hear from military sources that China and Japan and basically the whole Far East of Asia will be sending their tankers over to the Gulf of America, China included, Japan included. They'll be against and demonize Trump for what he was doing. Look like a bunch. This whole thing that's being operating on right now is a Q operation. Okay, and what you're seeing with the Israel and Iran and all this minutia going on there, it's all a distraction. It's a distraction to basically bring down the old fiat currency and and then flood the markets with the quantum financial system, which we're all going to be a part of. That's what's happening. And we're very, very close. So just to add to this, when you're watching Iran come down, when Iran comes down, so will Israel. Now, they're saying we can say, the true things about what's going on in Israel and whatever the case may be, but the brainwashed, controlled puppet media will still do whatever they can to shut you down as a podcaster. So that's the downside to this, right? So I try to not say too much about it, although what's going on right now, and I will probably say it, and I'm going to spell it out because I don't want to get you can, if you want or do the research to get to the truth, you have to maybe do your own research if you don't want to listen to me. I'm just here as a messenger. So the KAZ, okay, you know what I'm talking about, right? The KAZ, I'm going to call them the KMs, right? You know who I'm talking about. Okay. They are all scrambling to head back to their underground layers to do whatever they can to hide from the U.S. global military. Okay, and as if you don't sign this agreement on this here, we're going to go in there and take out your tankers and all this other stuff. Well, really what they're doing is taking out the portals and stopping any type of exit plan that the KMs may have, if you know what I'm talking about. Give me a 5x5 if you know what I'm talking about. And maybe it's okay for you to type it down, but I cannot say it publicly on this podcast, or else I'll get canned. Okay, lunar, Chinese calendar, April, New Year. Yes, it is. It's May 17, Gregorian calendar. You know what? I think it's all going to come into play. I believe that the God's calendar is going to be coming. I'm on God's calendar now. They're giving us 12 months. So every 12 months is a new year. I thought it was every 13 months is a new year. So we have to back that up. I mean, am I 71 or 64? That's kind of how way I'm looking at it right now. Okay. You are on the Quantum Financial System account on TikTok. No. What's happening is the Quantum Financial System is being deployed right now. It's already probably in place. And any bank, which I'm seeing right now and I'm witnessing right now, there's many, many accounts being frozen right now because of they're not complying to the Quantum Financial accounts. And this is the reason why these banks are shutting down along with your accounts, because they're not compliant. And this is the activation behind the scenes to make everybody look over there at Iran and the cabazle that's going on over there. Meanwhile, there's a lot of shit going on in the banking system, and many, many banks are being shut down along with your accounts. And I've said this for years and years: get your money out of the account. You want to leave $200-300 in there just to keep your account open, that's fine. But if you don't do what I'm asking you to, it's you're on your own. I'm completely safe from any type of outside corrupt bankster. They can't touch me because I already took action a long time ago. Yes, people still believe. Yeah, well, everybody. The trouble is about these morons that are out there, calling people names. They have no research to back their negative or narrative up. They have their head stuck up their ass, and they'll continue to sniff their own bullshit, because that's exactly who they are, and they just want to cause headache and havoc. All you're doing there, cornbread, is basically exposing yourself on how stupid you really are. All right? You can have a nice day. Yes, I really hope that this is what's happening. Yes, it is. It's everything's, they're not going to come out there and televise this thing on, CNN. This is a covert operation operating by war. And it's always the lefties and NPC negatives that have a very, very shallow mind. They're very, they don't have compassion or, any type of thought process. They cannot do any critical thinking. And they cannot read between the lines because they don't know what, they're programmed. That's what they are. And this is what's going to happen. Like when this shit hits the fan and the military comes in there and tells the police to stand down, and they come take over, and then, everybody's going to be basically forced to watch TV. There will be nothing, either be on TV. I believe there's 7 hours, or there'll be 7 messages from our commander. And then there'll be 10 days, 8-hour videos of a disclosure of what's happening. And these are going to be run either black and white or whatever on TV, but it'll be on the radio. And your ATMs and your internet will be shut down. So there'll be nothing there operating. And I don't care about these lefties. I really don't. They have nothing left. They have no credibility left. Right? They're not part of, they're on the bad side of history, and they will be dealt with accordingly. What if you were born in Germany when your father was in the military but have always lived in the U.S. Well, you are a U.S. citizen, right? I'm only saying if people were born in, if you were born in Germany, but you became a American citizen, you're fine. You'll be getting your wallet and everything inside the America. I'm just saying, if you still had a citizenship card or birth certificate from the old country, and you not have established a new citizenship inside your adopted country, if you haven't done that, then you'll have to go back to your old country, the original. Yeah. How soon till the RV? Well, I think the EBS is going to start happening. I think the EBS is around the corner. RV is going to be after that, or maybe in between all that. I don't know. But start thinking that things are going to start moving along. When this crash does come, you're going to see real estate take a real tumble. That's what's going to happen. They are going to do everything they can, right, to put things back into perspective. We are not going back to the old world. All right. Okay. The screenshot. Yeah, I got that done there. Yes, there's no fuel shortage. Okay, absolutely zero fuel shortage. So if anybody says that, like some libtard, you're not going to. Just don't believe anything anybody says. There's plenty of assets and commodity and abundance on this planet. And it's going to be distributed through, thanks to our commander. Medbeds, yes, are being released. They're being actually deployed right now and out and about. And there's a lot of veterans. You have to understand, the veterans were still in a battle, subterranean battles. And they're still wounded and casualties coming out of there. So those medbeds are taking care of the priorities. And of course, our little ones as well. They have to have their mind wiped and all the trauma released from their souls. And some are even so bad that they're having to be taken off planet. This is what's happening. It's a huge, massive cleanup. Yeah, the reptiles left this place in a hell of a mess. And, we have a lot of these little minions running around still, such as these guys that are coming on here, calling, throwing out negative shit. They're reptilian negatives. That's what they are. If you get a blood test on them, I'm pretty sure they're reptilian. 2,600 hours of sunshine, yeah. Well, that's why they grow all the beautiful wine vineyards down there. I go through it all the time. It's beautiful down there. Yeah, I guess the only big city that's in that area is probably Osoyoos, right? But yes, they get a lot of sunshine as well. But I guess we take the cake on that one because I think we're more. But I'm not going to sit here and digress, and I'm not going to, throw punches out there. We do have, I'm very happy with the amount of sunshine we get here in these Kootenays. Of course I'm a Trump supporter. I always have been. I never deviated. And everybody that's out there, and let me get into this for a minute. I'm going to tell you right now, this stuff that's going on with what is it, Candace Owen, Megyn Kelly, and Alex Jones, and Tucker Carlson. Okay, let's just see where that money. Let's follow the money and see what's going on there. Let's follow their wallets, and all that's gonna be released and exposed here later on, and it's very, very easy for the bad guys to do threats on people's families and, either take the money or, we're going to threaten you in another way. And that's very, very likely what's going on. We can't be there everywhere to do with the things that we're doing. So I believe that all of them are being coerced by the negatives to say the things that they're saying. What I say to everybody is use your discernment, stay on course, and trust the plan. Trust the plan. That's why. They can't get to Trump. They can't get to his inner circle. They've tried, 50, 60, 100, maybe 200 times. They can't get to him, but these other ones are out there. They can get to them, and, that's what I'm saying is that, don't take every word that people say for what it's worth. There's something behind the scene. When they start acting the way they start acting, there is a reason behind it. They're not going to just do turncoat. I mean, we have to understand it's not, the last thing that our commander's doing is attacking the Iranian people or attacking the Jewish people. Absolutely not. He's doing everything he can to protect them. It is the ghouls and the black nobility and all this other bullshit that's in there, and the 13 families and all this satanic shit, that is what they're getting cleaned up. And that's what's happening. And people need to know that. People need to see through that, right? So they can say whatever they want. I'm staying on course. And I know that my intuition tells me, and it's been telling me for, 15 years now almost. And I listen very, very closely. I watch, he's really rough around the edges, but Dan Pena is a billionaire, and he knows what he's talking about. I've listened to him lots. And way back when, he says, you watch, he says, Trump is going to rock this world like nobody's ever seen before. And I continue, and that's what's happening right now. Yeah, tribal. We're street fighters. That's what we are. We're street fighters, and we are the light here, doing the things that we're doing. Okay, we're here. We're a low-level messengers. That's what we are. We are not in any way, shape, or form a threat to anybody. All we are is messengers and try to shine the light and love. That's all we're trying to do. So, but as far as the information, I'm only getting information from what I'm doing my research on. That's all it is. Anyways, so no longer we have to fear what is about or saying anything about Israel or Iran or anything like that, because unless about the puppets and everything else that's going on, yes. I'm going to get into a little bit of health things, because I know that a lot of people out there have arthritis, and they got maybe gum disease, and their gums are bleeding and stuff like this. And you're using stupid toothpaste. Now I want everybody to listen to me and listen up. I will get into that in a minute. Okay. Bank accounts, like it says, are being closed down and frozen. Now, your bank might not be closed, but your bank accounts might be frozen. Why? This is an attack on your mind, and they're doing everything to attack your spirit. Because if they can enslave your spirit, then it blocks your mind and body from your spiritual side. It separates your mind and body from your spiritual side. And that's what they're trying to do, to keep you weak and scared and everything else. And that's what's going on right now, even by attacking your bank accounts, right? So we are learning right now to protect ourselves. We're learning and realizing that nothing out there is true, right?